brain candiers.
That was like breathy.
Hey, Delilah After Dark, episode 858, Brain Candy Podcast. We love a palindrome.
858, feeling great.
Oh, there it is.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I am feeling great. Feels like a really good day. Oh, yeah. I love that.
Sarah, does it feel like a great day?
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm doing something very exciting today.
What?
This is one of my favorite days of the year. It is the release party for there's a ski film company called Warren Miller Entertainment. Warren Miller was this like ski bum guy who became really famous for like making ski movies, and it's their 75th anniversary. And he's since passed away, but it would be his 100th birthday. So they're doing a big event, and it's the premiere of Johnny Mosley, who's a friend of the challenge.
That's right.
He narrates that. He's the narrator of the whole thing. So I always get excited.
Film?
Yeah, and every year they do a kickoff. It's like kicks off the ski season and the winter season because they do a premiere at the like little theater up in Boulder, and I've gone 3 years in a row, and it's going to be so fun. And they always have like giveaways and prizes and stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm going to win something. I'm feeling very winny, like.
Okay.
Yes. Lucky.
Manifested.
Yes, I'm manifesting a win, like a set of skis.
These are big ticket items.
Big ticket item. One of the prizes is a heli ski trip where they drop you you go up in a helicopter to the top. I will go in a helicopter for that. Up to in a helicopter to the top of a mountain, and then they drop you off, and you get to just ski where nobody else goes.
God, that sounds so bad, but good luck to you.
Thank you. Could you imagine if I won that?
No.
I would die.
You might.
Susie's like, you might. No, I knew you were going to say that.
You might literally die.
No, I'll be totally fine. But I am going to that.
What happens if you jump out of that helicopter and you're like, I changed my mind?
You would. Here's the thing that snow, when it's powder, it slows you down. You don't go that fast. It really just feels like you are flying because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're floating and or like surfing or something. Like you are.
Yeah, I know. But what if you change your mind? What happens?
Well, you probably just hop in the helicopter and they take you right back down. And then they're like, you're a big old baby. And then we'll probably give you a bunch of shit for it.
Okay, well, I'll cross my fingers for you.
Yeah, so I'm going to that. Yeah,
it's really fun.
I took your advice. Of the year.
I went to Stevie Wonder.
Yes. How was it, Suze?
It was so great. I was so glad I went. I'm really glad that you validated that choice. I got you your merch.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, the only good thing about the merch is it's cool because they have Braille on there. And
cool.
It's like, you can feel it, It's not just visual, like, obviously, because,
That's
but I
awesome.
thought maybe, because when I rubbed my fingers on it, I'm like, am I going to feel anything? And then you can. That's really cool. But otherwise, it's like hot garbage. I was like, Stevie, my man, I know, like, you're probably sick of all this, but, like, we could use some, like, decent merch. But the concert was phenomenal and moving and so fun. And... you know how it is. I always go to these concerts by myself and then try to like make a story out of it because that's so fun.
Make a new best friend somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Me and Amanda had a great time.
I love that you always have a bestie in the audience.
But yeah, other than that, just basking in the glow.
What was the best song? What was your favorite that he performed?
I mean, I would have to go with As. Do you know that one?
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a love song. Da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee da dee da dee da da da. No?
Okay.
Oh, you don't know that one?
Well, I probably do, but
and then of course Superstition. He did like a medley at the end of like the best ones, and it was like,
nice.
Fuck, now I can't leave early. I just gotta stay. I like to beat the traffic,
I also love I Believe, that song.
Sing it.
I believe when I fall.
He did not do that one.
That is That would bring
book.
me to tears.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking book. See, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a deep cut, Sarah. He did not play that.
Is that? That's probably not even what the song is called because I always just
I know
say
which
the wrong
one
names.
you mean, though.
Yeah.
When I Fall in Love.
When I Fall in Love.
It will
Forever.
Be forever. Yeah. And he didn't do Stay Gold from The Outsiders, which I love. I love that one. But those are deep cuts.
Yeah.
He was doing the greatest hits.
And there's so many. I mean, hello.
Who's mad about that? Yeah.
Right. You have to have a whole weekend to hit them all.
So my year of wonder is maintained and magical. Thank you for your insight.
Yes.
All right, let's get into some brain candy. I was going to do like a segment today we have some nominees for the Darwin Awards, if you're not familiar.
Oh, yes. I love this.
If you're not familiar with the Darwin Awards, these are people who died or nearly died for being complete morons. And we have some great ones.
I feel like these stories, when I was a child, used to be few and far between. You'd hear these stories of people being dumbasses and dying or getting seriously injured. Now, I think maybe it's everybody putting everything on social media or wanting to videotape everything or
we're not paying attention.
It's almost like I assume people are going to be dumbasses, and especially when it comes to wild animals and
you're so right. Okay, I'll give you my animal one first because you named the two things, animals and social media, that caused this Darwin Award. Although, unfortunately, I don't mean to be mean, but he's still alive. And like, I don't think he should be. And here's why. This guy was a snake influencer.
Okay. Susie, I went down a rabbit hole or a snake hole, whatever you want to call it, last night and it was like when animals attack, because this woman got like wrapped up by a python. I'm like, well, you know what? She was fucking asking for it.
Yeah,
so
she was.
Tell me.
Yes, this guy was totally asking for it. He's a snake influencer. He has 15,000.
Which already, what are you going to put that on a fucking business card?
Loser.
Get out of here. Okay, go ahead.
Take your terrarium and get off freaking Instagram. Scram, beat it. He went on Instagram Live with the most venomous snake in the world, a viper.
What did you think was going to happen, sir? Okay. Oh my God. My toes are curled. Okay.
And he had previously said, and I quote, anti-venom is for pussies.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Okay.
Imagine the size of his wiener. It is.
Imagine. I mean,
minuscule.
This guy, this is.
I know.
I know that I am the likelihood of me being a parent at this point is slim. But if I ever were a parent, and there's one thing I would want to teach my child.
Mm-hmm.
This might be don't be this guy.
Don't be this guy. Don't be this guy. What are you doing?
What are you doing, sir? Okay. So tell me the story because I already know how it ends.
Basically, he got bit on Insta Live, and at first he had said, like, don't worry, like, I can get it off of me. It's fine. Like, acting like he's clearly in denial about
that is the worst
threat of these animals. And when this article was written, he was fighting for his life in the hospital from the snake bite. So I don't know if he died, but I don't think he did. But I just am like, you fool.
What? Why?
It's arrogance.
It is arrogance. And why we think... I think when you really understand something and you respect something, and if you do study those snakes and learn about those snakes, then you don't try to dominate it. You don't try to...
Well, it's kind of like Steve Irwin, although I'm sure he's controversial to some as well, because any kind of filming or making it into sort of a spectacle, I think could be debated as to whether that's ethical. But I do think he had a genuine love and respect and awareness about the danger of them.
Yes.
Although I don't know. Remember when he held his baby and like fed the crocodile that one time?
Oh, and I just watched him I just watched a clip where he was on live TV and it was with a python. And although pythons are not venomous, they can still bite you and latch on. And so it was like a baby python and it got him in the neck and you can see it pulling and him trying to remain calm. And it's like a kid show where one of the characters is like a puppet that he's talking to. So the puppet's looking around like, what do we do? Yeah. I'm like, this is
if
not
you were the
good.
puppeteer.
Right. He's like, oh, yes.
See, yeah, that's the thing. Like Steve Irwin, and he died at the hand of one of these creatures. So I get that he is not the best example, but I did sense that he had a deep love and respect for
and he
animals.
taught about that respect and there was this understanding that I had too that Steve Irwin was very knowledgeable in this, not like a fucking snake influencer.
Yeah, who's just in it for
who like
clicks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was the cute little outfit Steve Irwin wore.
He was his little short
and
shorts
I just love his whole family. And Bindi Irwin's
they
the
are
best.
clearly good people.
They really are.
All right. Well, he's off the hook, but anyway.
Yeah, he is, but not the rest of these snake fools.
Okay, then the next Darwin Award winner today is this guy whose friend had been prescribed a medically assisted suicide cocktail, for, what do they call that? Assisted suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were terminally ill or whatever. And the person began drinking it to die and was like, oh, it's real bitter. And this friend took a sip to see if it really was.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
That doesn't seem like.
What are you thinking?
That
here's what it said.
Could this?
A 37-year-old man from Denver survived swallowing a sip of a cocktail of assisted suicide drugs during an end-of-life celebration for a friend dying of pancreatic cancer. I do not know why, but the article...
There's more to the story that feels like...
You think he had a death wish?
No, I don't think he had a death wish, but I feel like this is somebody did something stupid, like, let me have a sip. Like, this feels... You don't accidentally do that.
Yeah.
Or if he said, it's bitter, here, let me try it. Like, you're in a room with a bunch of other people.
Be performative?
And it is Darwin Awards. It really is just sheer stupidity. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
It's like you're giving them too much credit. You're
think that
can't be it. Okay, so it says that the weird thing is the article said that this guy that took a sip had a history of anxiety, attention deficit disorder, and chronic pain. And I was just like, this is really throwing ADD people under the bus. And
yeah.
Why is that even relevant? Does he also have a history of bad discernment?
Yeah.
Why do I need to know what his medical history is? He took a sip of a death potion.
Right. Those two things
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
So,
and what are they trying to say? That this was just like some ADHD slip of the mind? I don't think so.
That's what I want to know. Like, what are you getting at here?
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting in this article. It said that in America, when we do have these prescribed suicide end-of-life potions from doctors, that we do an oral method, so these drinks.
Yeah.
But in Canada, they do lethal injection, which is obviously superior.
Yeah, definitely superior.
Because it's, number one, not bitter.
And administered by a physician. A physician. Like that, because that's the part that is making me a little confused here, is it feels like this should be done. I'm all for that I am some like, if I could do it to my dog, I think it's very compassionate to do it to a human who's like ready at that. Come on.
Totally agree.
So, but I think there's a way that is done that's best for everybody, even to like gently help the person who's receiving the cocktail head into the afterlife. Yes. Yeah. And so I would want a medical professional there, somebody there. And to think that these guys were just at a fucking kegger in Denver and this guy's like,
I get the impression
past the suicide syrup? No.
Sarah, I get the impression that our society's preoccupation with this life versus like pro-life versus pro-choice debate might be at play here, because in America, a doctor can be present, but they cannot have anything to do with administering the liquid or whatever.
Backwards.
And so I think in Canada, they allow for actual knowledgeable people to be at the...
Could you imagine if it were like that with my dog? Like I can do it, but I can't go to a vet to do it. That would be wild.
Good point.
That is actually insane.
It's insane. If you think
I would never want that ever.
I don't understand this whole thing about like, you would think I, of all people, would understand like religiosity and the way that it informs people's views of like assisted suicide. But to me, it's so, if somebody is terminally ill and they're on death's door, why couldn't we allow them to choose when they go and to die with dignity? To me, it's like so obvious. But
it's so obvious.
Clearly not. At any rate, the craziest part about the article was that there was another example of someone a couple years ago that did the exact same thing.
What?
Yes. Like taking a sip.
This makes me uncomfortable. I actually I'm physically uncomfortable thinking about this. 'Cause like, what are you doing? I have like regret, but
by proxy. Well,
I'm not
I'll tell you
comfortable.
what, I have regret by proxy to anyone who has not signed up for Rocket Money yet. If you have not downloaded this app,
what are you waiting
for real, what are you waiting for? This is how Sarah and I monitor and manage our finances, and it has saved me a bundle because they negotiate prices for like insurance and stuff on my behalf. Like they'll call the cable company or whoever and say like, hey, we want a better price, or they'll cancel subscriptions that I'm no longer interested in.
Yep. They will help you find subscriptions or things that maybe you signed up for and totally forgot about, or it was like a trial or a year, like once a year thing, and you don't even know about it. That happened to me.
Yeah. And you can waste a lot of money if just by being a little disorganized or forgetful or whatever. And Rocket Money can do the job for you. They have over 5 million users that saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/braincandy. That's rocketmoney.com/braincandy, rocketmoney.com/braincandy. I love a free app. Come on.
Yeah, love.
Okay.
And saving money. Hello.
And saving money. All right. So those were my 2 Darwin Award nominees.
Gosh. Never surprises me.
Right? Okay. Here's a guy we can hate.
I love this. I'm on board already.
Okay, this was in Smithsonian Magazine, and you know how we hate people that climb Mount Everest?
Yes, so much.
It's sort of in this vein where these total douchebags are like, how can I like be memorable and leave a legacy? And then it's like the worst way possible. In this case, 50 years ago, this fella decided he was going to circumnavigate the globe on foot. And he was going to...
That seems...
Yeah. It's ambitious.
Right.
I'll give him that. Sounds awful.
Right.
But he decided he was going to do that. And first I'm reading through it and I'm like, all right, whatever. Who cares? And then I read that he had a wife and 3 kids.
Oh, no. That he clearly didn't like.
Clearly.
I mean, could you imagine hating your spouse so much? You're like, that's it. I'm going on a walk.
I'm going to get cigarettes.
Around the fucking globe.
It's like men will do anything instead of getting a divorce.
Right. Or going to therapy.
Right. I just thought, mister, do you know you can head to City Hall and just go ahead and get an apartment and call it a day?
Right.
Okay. So instead of doing that, he decided
how on earth did he have time for 3 children between all that walking?
Literally, how on earth? Because he decided he was going to do this. He took his brother and they just start walking around. And they brought a mule, and the mule like towed their little wagon of possessions. And they went to 13 countries, and the goal they claimed was not to leave this guy's wife, but to demonstrate man's control over his own destiny and reaffirm his strength and vitality. They rejected the stifling...
Were there questions about your strength and vitality, sir? Come on. What do we...
For real. That's a good point. Sounds like
this is how you have to prove yourself. Again, exactly like what you said. Like, they will do anything but go to therapy. This is like journaling could have helped with this.
Right.
For fuck's sake.
Okay. They really rejected this idea of like the unending struggle for security that happens like sort of in middle America, where you're like just working for the weekend, that kind of thing. Okay, fine. So they got financial backing, which is my first annoyance, where it's like some rich dude is like, that sounds great. I'm going to give them my money instead of helping people that need it. And then they ended up having 4 mules along the way because they had to like transfer. At
like, what happened to the other ones? Yeah, okay.
The craziest part, though, is they were halfway and right about to go into Pakistan.
He was like, oh shit, I left my keys. Hang on, we gotta go back.
Right. I forgot my ID.
Okay, I'm kidding.
And they were approached by a group of bandits and were shot at. And both brothers ended up getting shot. One of them died, and the other one just had to keep walking.
Oh no.
Okay. So
This seems a little fixate. Like, they're a little hyper fixated on this. If that goal becomes more important than caring for your brother after he just died, like,
I know,
even for yourself, like, I think I would go home if my brother just died next to me.
Funnily enough, Sarah, he did go home, and you think, okay, he learned his lesson. Like, his brother's dead.
Right.
He's back home, and then he was like, fuck this. Think of either his wife was horrible or he's the biggest D-bag in the world, because he recruited his next brother, Peter, and was like, let's hit the road. And so they hit the road. They flew back to Pakistan to start where they left off.
That doesn't count.
Exactly. But guess who says it does count?
Don't you dare say Guinness Book of Records.
Our biggest enemy.
Don't you dare tell me. Okay.
He got the GD, Guinness World Book of Record, for circumnavigating the globe on foot.
That with a big old asterisk. That is some bullshit.
I feel like I've done that.
Oh, okay, right. Who hasn't?
So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That is some bullshit. What do you...
Yeah, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page about this. So they couldn't get permission to go through China, so they had to go to Australia. They hitched a plane to Australia, And then they go to a party, and David, the main guy, he meets a nice lady. Now remember, he's married with 3 kids.
Oh, he's the worst.
And he's like, oh yeah, this hooker is my cup of tea. So anyway, they leave the party, and then the other brother, Peter, he's like, I've had it. And he flies home. And their mule died. And so the wagon and he are just sitting on the road, like, what are we going to do? So they call this lady back from the party.
Yeah.
And he's like, come get me and hitch my wagon to your car and drive beside me and talk to me the whole way. And he's walking and she's towing his wagon. So to
I don't like him.
Of course not. This is a despicable guy.
Yeah. Wow. Talk about all about me.
Yeah. And anyway, he finally makes it back to friggin'...
I don't even understand how he just picked all continents and said, I'm going to walk from this side to this side of each one. And then
I think it would have to go through the... what do they call that by Alaska and Russia? Whatever that strait is.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems like the only way that even close to being legit.
I don't like
to get to all that. Yeah, I know. Me neither. But I especially don't like how he is a total piece of shit. And then we're all like, oh, you did it. Guess how long it took him?
Ooh, 5.5 years.
Oh, that's too many. 4.
4.
It took 4 years, 13 countries. And he got back, and
it doesn't sound like that much, and it doesn't sound like 13 countries.
4 years?
Well, it feels like, I guess he's walking. He's walking? He
sure is.
Yeah.
His girlfriend's not, Jenny. She's driving next to him.
Oh my God. Bizarre.
Did the other cars just have to go around them? It's very rude.
Yeah.
At any rate, everyone's just celebrating this guy.
I want to know what his wife thinks about him.
I want to know what his kids think of him, because he ended up marrying this new lady. Yeah.
He married the...
He divorced
he didn't want to be in his life.
Just leave her. She had to get a job and support these kids while he was walking around the globe.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Anyway, that was bonkers, and I was so mad, and I'm like, Sarah is going to hate him.
Where'd you hear about that?
That was Smithsonian Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, they were just still celebrating him is what it felt like. They weren't mad like we are, Sarah.
No, that's because it's like those adventure, like it's right up there with the Mount totally Everest thing and Machu Picchu. I'm like, no, I'm not into it.
Okay.
No.
Did you hear that there was a competitive daydreaming competition in Tokyo?
No. Mm-hmm. But I feel like had I known about that,
do you feel like you're
given
really
whoever a run for their money? Are you kidding me? Daydreaming, I love it.
That's your specialty?
I don't think it's my specialty, but I think that I am good at letting my imagination run wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe you could compete next year, because here's
it's like writing fan fiction about everything that's going on around you.
Okay. Well, you'd have to really train though, because they have strict rules. If your heart rate goes up too high, or if you laugh or talk or fall asleep, you're out of there.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. It's harder than it sounds.
Okay, so you're staying in this constant state of calm and zen in a way.
Yeah, let your mind wander.
It's really just like a meditation contest.
Kind of.
What's different?
I guess it's like staying calm.
Is that not?
Right? I mean, I guess
mindfulness and meditation and the
so
goal.
1,200 people applied, but only 70 lucky people made the cut.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And competition was fierce, but also subdued.
This makes sense.
And basically it's a contest to see which participant can stare the hardest into middle distance for 90 minutes. I don't know if like there were several people. I don't know how they break a tie or like determine the winner.
Yeah,
maybe it's
and
like
what
heart
is it
rate?
like if your gaze shifts? You know, when you get like caught in a stare and you just kind of like stare off.
Yeah.
Then there's like this moment where you kind of snap out of it.
They can't.
Maybe
do
they
that.
just can't snap out of it.
No way.
And you just watch them. Ooh, interesting, weird.
Yeah. I mean,
I like that it's only 90. That 90 minutes sounds like this is like a real thing. If it were like 6 days of, I'm like, okay, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Anymore. And when I was reading it, I'm reading it in the mindset of like brain candy. This is funny. We're going to have fun talking about it. Then as I read it, I'm like, this isn't a bad contest. It's like not a bad skill to be able to let your brain wander. And that's something I'm trying to teach my son unsuccessfully, about the importance of boredom and like just sitting in the discomfort or whatever and letting your mind just do its thing.
It's that rice and lentil sorting thing that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. It's a good skill.
No, it is a good thing.
So even though it's a funny idea, it's like, hey, maybe we should celebrate that instead of this doofus that walks around the globe.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another thing that we all agree on, and Sarah would too if she had cats, is how great Smalls cat food is, because it is wet cat food and it's human grade, but it doesn't have the thing that every other wet cat food had, which is a disgusting odor.
Yes.
And my cats love it. And every day, Lava in particular, the fatter one, she is ready.
She sits.
She actually
ready.
starts like salivating.
Yeah. She's like, meow.
Yes. There's a lot of communication that we have when
she lets you know exactly what she wants.
And this stuff that comes to my door, put it in the freezer, and then the cats are happy as heck. Give your cat the gift of great cat food this holiday season. Head to smalls.com/braincandy. Use promo code braincandy at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. It's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use our code braincandy for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code braincandy for 50% off your first order plus free shipping.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda, I don't know why this struck me as funny, but you know how like that thing at Disney, that special like VIP club called Club 33?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Have you ever been in there?
I have been in there.
Tell me everything.
What do you want to know? It's
like everything, Sarah.
Well, okay. First of all, I think the idea of the exclusivity is you know what they're selling. It is really fun. It is, but it's.
What do you mean? What's fun about it? Isn't it just food and drinks? What goes on?
Yeah, it's. I mean, nothing special. That's what I'm saying. It's like this idea that there's some like magical world behind there, but really all it is you get to go into like up a staircase and into a room and like this section at Disneyland, this restaurant at Disneyland that just the general population doesn't have access to, and it's very like Parisian-y, French themed. Like really fine china with everything with Mickey Mouse in it. And it's feels like you're at like a tea party almost, like very fancy and
elegant,
very elegant.
And how did you get in there?
My ex-husband knew somebody who had a membership or something like that, or did some trade. And
did you go with them?
Just me and him went.
Okay. Then you are you're a rule breaker because that is forbidden.
Oh, well.
But I love it. I love it. But yes, it actually is helpful to this story because that is something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like once people have memberships, then they like allow access to their friends and all that. Okay. Yeah. So there's this couple who, you know how like when you want to get a membership to Disney's Club 33, you have to get on this wait list. And they waited 12 years to get their membership. And finally they did it, right? But you still got to pay a shit ton of money. So the first year they paid $50,000.
What? Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
$50,000
to get to go to, are you kidding me? I can't. Nope. No, ma'am. I didn't know what I was at.
Yes, Sarah.
You
didn't appreciate it.
I really didn't.
Okay. Well, but also you probably are thinking it's not worth it. Because like,
it's just like a door. It's like you get the same, you get the same eating experience. I mean, like it's like fancier china and everything, but it's no different than the food. Yes.
Yeah, right. It's just to get in.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So they get this membership and they are psyched out of their minds, right? And they don't even live in California.
Oh my God. That's wild.
It's even more insane.
Can't imagine.
But they went 80 times that first year.
Oh my God.
And they just love it with all their hearts. And then the husband, he was found on a bench outside of Club 33, like what park employees thought was inebriated.
Okay.
But he claims it was a migraine situation. You remember when I got a migraine one time and then I started talking gibberish?
Yeah.
He claims it was like that.
This. Yeah.
Where like it was red wine induced. He had a glass of wine and then he like had one of these migraines. Anyway, so they claimed he was inebriated. Oh. And so they took away their membership. And they are furious and they have spent $400,000 trying to get it back through the court system.
Oh my God.
Anyway, they were describing what it is like. So I found this totally interesting because I just thought, who would pay $50,000 for just like an exclusive? Right. It's like a country club.
Right. People with a lot of money to throw away. Apparently. Okay, continue.
But evidently, they call it like a glorified season pass because you get like 100 passes to the park with that fast pass, genie, whatever all those special things are where you get to skip the line.
Okay.
And you get like merch. And when you sell all that stuff, it basically pays for the membership. And even though it's forbidden to sell it, like everyone does.
I got an ornament that I paid for. Like, I think the ornament was like $30
they have like
or something like that. Special merch. I sold that ornament for over $100 on eBay.
Sarah, see? You are because a part I didn't of want, the Disney it was like, pipeline.
Yeah, I am.
Wow,
I didn't want that. They was like, I didn't need that memory. Sold.
That is fascinating to me. And I finished this article and I was like, I should get on that wait list because if you can make the money back and still get access, that's a grift, baby.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that what is your time worth? Because you got to sell everything. You got to do it. You got to, they were flying to Disneyland.
Okay,
to go
if
there.
I lived there, it would be totally
It would be different. Yes.
Okay. That's all really. I just love
That's wild. So, but what happened in the end?
They so far have been unsuccessful. They
I guarantee you that contract says that it's at the discretion of the employees and that there's nothing you could do about basically like they protect themselves. Disney is fucking good at writing a contract and
their attorneys are
this is what they do. And Disney is strict. I remember my mom did a commercial at Disneyland and they needed extras. So we were like riding on the rides in the commercial and everybody who worked for the production company had to wear special jackets and it was really hot that day. And there were people who didn't want to wear the jacket and took them off. They were fired on the spot. Just you're out. Bye.
Damn.
Because you have to wear that. Like you had to wear that. They were so crazy strict with all of the crew that was not Disney.
Yeah. You have to follow things by the book.
Oh yeah.
I mean, part of why they are known for excellence is because of these strict policies. But I mean, I don't know. It's just hilarious to me that that would be that important to these people.
Yeah. It's not that, I mean, I just feel like you and I have had some wonderful dinners that I think are far more exciting and eventful.
Well, and it's sort of like owning a boat. You don't want to own the boat. You want to know somebody that owns the boat.
Right.
I want that with the Club 33 passes.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with all that, but like it's like you and your husband.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to get me in one night and I can buy an ornament.
Right. That's what it was.
The dream.
It's great.
All right. So that was that. I loved it. Moving on. They have a new postmaster in Antarctica.
Oh, Antarctica. Big male
hub. This is great. So they have this foundation or whatever that helps with preservation and conservation of like penguins and wildlife in Antarctica. And just like, I think it's called the Antarctic Heritage Trust. It's a conservation charity that cares for historic British bases.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they recruited 5 people to live in Antarctica and run like the souvenir shop, the museum, and the post office, which is basically
the majority
one
of their
room.
work is just dusting, I'm sure. Because
But here's what's crazy, and I never thought about it, and it's so cool. The postmaster actually has a really big job because all these cruise ships come in for like one day.
Oh, yeah.
And all the people want to send mail postcards from Antarctica because it's stamped. You know, and it has the cool thing on it. And so, like, this guy's working overtime.
Yeah.
Getting all these postcards out. But here's also what I found funny about it. So he's stamping them. He's processing all these postcards from the cruise ships. And then the cruise people go away. And then, like, a new boat comes. And then all the ones he processed go on the boat.
Right.
And then go back to the mainland. And it's just sort of like,
I see what you're saying. Why didn't they just, I see what you're saying.
Like,
they're basically paying for a sleepover, a one-night sleepover for their letters.
They don't even stay over. They're paying for the stamp that says Antarctica.
Okay. Yeah.
On
it's
it.
Fun.
Which is super cool, but like hilarious. This bozo has to live in Antarctica for 5 months, processing all these GD postcards.
Yeah. That is kind of
it's cute though. We're so
shame.
stupid.
Like,
Humans are so dumb.
But we like that.
We love it. And I would do the same thing. I would be shipping postcards.
It feels to me like the same energy as those pennies that you put in that machine and then you crank it and then it flattens them. And then they're like the penny for the like train station that you went to at the zoo at, the random.
Sarah,
yeah, it's that.
What a great analogy, because it isn't even the same penny. It is
right.
a pretend swap scenario.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's just sort of like you just want to believe it. And so it becomes true in your mind.
Yeah. And this token and magical thing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these people live in a little dorm and they're each allotted like one box of possessions, and they've collaborated and coordinated, like, I'm going to bring this book, you bring a different book, and then they'll swap them out. And it's cute. Ooh,
yeah, that's like the same kind of prep that you need for going on the International Space Station, though, of people, just a few people in close proximity with, they got to, I hope they have a lot of
they have more
things for self-care. And
I feel like the space station people have more digital like options. I know they have internet in Antarctica that they can use, but I bet you in the space station, like, since they're hooked up to like freaking Houston, NASA, they probably have good streaming.
Oh, they probably don't in Antarctica.
Right. Like, I bet it's just sort of like...
that's actually an interesting question. Is the streaming better on the International Space Station or in the middle of freaking nowhere, Antarctica?
I think the space station.
The space station. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You never think.
I feel like they're less bored.
Yeah. And they have a task.
They have so many tasks.
Yeah. I'd be bored. And
it's
all looking at nothing in Antarctica, right? It's like all
It doesn't look fun.
It doesn't look fun.
It's like a wasteland.
And I don't know if this is still true, but I hear there are 2 ATMs and there's only one that's functioning.
They need to recruit a 6th person and make that person the ATM repair guy. Are you serious? Why would you need an ATM in friggin' Antarctica?
I think maybe it's for the souvenir shop at the...
Oh my God. For the ornaments people are going to then sell on eBay. We should buy Antarctica ornaments.
Yes, there are 2. One ATM here is in operation at any given time, and the other is being used for spare parts.
There is no way.
At the McMurdo station, it's the most southernmost ATM. It's operated by Wells Fargo. There are 2. One of them is in use. The other one is used for parts if the other one breaks.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Antarctica's weird. Would you want to go there?
Capable of supporting, it supports 1,258 residents.
How many?
It says at this part, it's Antarctica's largest community, capable of supporting up to 1,258 residents. I don't know.
I wonder how many are really there.
Yeah,
not many. I think it's like under 100, and it's like mostly dudes, and the 4 women that are there are like always worried they're going to be raped.
I would too. It seems very scary.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
That. I don't need a postcard that bad.
No.
Good Lord. Okay. Anyway, that's cute. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the same. Let's see. What do I want to talk to you about? Well, we never talked about the Hope Solo Untold.
I never saw it.
Okay.
Can you tell me?
Well, okay. So Hope Solo was a soccer player on the women's team. Excellent goalkeeper. And she then became known for having sort of a brash personality, being kind of hard-headed, but also then eventually for like unsavory headlines. I think she was arrested one time with her kids in the car. She was like, sleeping in a parking lot, but because the keys were in the car and the car was running, she was arrested for like, I don't know what they call that.
Like child endangerment or?
Yeah. Essentially. And stuff like that, like regarding substance use issues. But so that's sort of where I went into it thinking like this lady is a real pip and she gets into trouble. Almost like kind of like a Tanya Harding type. Okay. And Untold is a documentary series about sports that I really love and really tends to do a good job of providing nuance to complicated subjects that you would think there'd be like a bad guy and a good guy, but there's really not. And so in her case, what I learned was that her dad, who she loved so very, very much and had great affection for, he left her family and ended up being unhoused for most of his life, like sort of by choice, one of those deals. Okay. But she would like bring him food and like they stayed connected and stuff like that. Which I think that storyline sort of symbolized that she came from a situation that is not typical in elite athletes. Right. Usually elite athletes
not typical.
Incredible resources.
Of support. Yes.
And so by providing that context, you sort of get the sense of like, she wasn't in this sport in the same way most of the women on the team were probably in this sport.
Where you've had an entire family that has positioned themselves around your
just facilitating your success.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you start to see like, okay, so part of why she was probably a bit aggressive or blunt or brash probably came from survival. a need to, be strong and tough. And it probably was not something the establishment, whoever that is,
right,
like the suits, appreciated. And so
definitely not in women.
Yeah. And she evidently became aware of the pay discrepancy between the men's team and the women's team, and how despite the women's team winning, you remember Mia Hamm and Brandy, whatever her name was, and that success they were having in the World Cup and all this stuff, and the men's team floundering, and the women's team bringing in all this revenue even from admissions and stuff, that the women were still paid a fraction. And so she started kicking up a fuss. And then essentially she was fired. I mean, that's sort of the long and short of it. And then when she got into trouble afterwards with like the drinking and stuff, it was like, see, she's a problem. And they listed off everyone they asked to be interviewed who said no. And it took like 2 minutes for them to run all the names of the people they wanted to speak in the documentary who wouldn't, because they're still entrenched.
No, like they can't say anything because of fear.
Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to kick up a fuss like she did. Because look what happens.
Right.
You're ostracized. And I was like, fuck, this is powerful and really sad.
Yeah. And there's a lot of not so great stuff that goes on in the world of Major League Soccer.
In the world of sports, like that's what I'm taking away from all these 30 for 30s that I'm consuming, is how much it basically is a lens through which we can see all the ills of society: racism, sexism, greed, classism. All that stuff is just like, it's just encapsulated within that sports world, but it's the same as every other industry.
Absolutely.
It's troubling.
It really is. And the vulnerable people who get taken advantage of, and the people who end up profiting off of those individuals, it's a lot of that same story over and over.
And that they can sort of make her seem like this wild card, like loose cannon, when really she's just the one telling the truth, maybe.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing with Colin Kaepernick.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just kicked him right, got rid of it. He was one of the best players in there. No reason he should be gone. Because he
and then
took
everyone
a knee.
just zips it, because then they're going to be next if they say anything. The power structures of these systems are really hard to overcome. And we see that with the challenge on a much smaller scale. Yeah. But that is 100% what's happened to us.
Totally.
Is that we're just hey, maybe don't do this terrible thing. And everyone's like, how dare you?
Yeah, you bite the hand that feeds you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're ruining it for all these people that are profiting.
Right.
Yeah. So I have great compassion for her that I did not have going into it.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's not the full story. I'm sure she is tough to deal with. And I'm sure she has her moments that they then
but two things can be true.
Exploit. Yeah. And they use it as like, look at this crazy loon.
Right. That we're just going to brush off the other stuff.
Yeah. But I think you would like it. So I would encourage you to watch it. It's on Netflix. The Untold series is amazing. All of them. That was just the most recent one that I watched. Okay. One last thing before we go. I wanted to talk about, have you heard any promotion or read any reviews or whatever about the Lisa Marie Presley memoir?
Yes. I have heard about this.
Okay.
I've heard that this is supposed to be a more honest look, right?
Yeah. So she left this like in her estate, like in her will and stuff, and told her daughter Reilly to publish it upon her death. Right?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
We're going to start to hear, we're going to have more of these coming out. I
hope so.
I can't imagine why this wouldn't happen.
Spill it.
Yeah.
I want it all.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, come on. I live for old gossip.
Right. Tell me what we're expecting to hear in here.
Well, so they have sent the book to, publication. So they're reviewing it. So I've read a couple reviews on it.
Uh-huh.
And first of all, it's such a sad story. I mean, she died.
She was very young,
too soon.
Right?
Yeah. And her cause of death was bowel obstruction, but it was from complications from a bariatric surgery that she had, which is so, poetic and upsetting because Elvis had struggled with all of that weight stuff and wanting to look a certain way, but he didn't. And I mean, it really is generational, as we all know. Anyone with body issues know this doesn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
But so she left this memoir to be published. And so Reilly had to finish it. And so the way the book is structured now, it's like Lisa Marie talking and then Reilly will weigh in or whatever. It goes kind of like back and forth. And then towards the end, it's more Reilly than Lisa Marie. And I don't know if you're familiar, but like Lisa Marie had a son who died by suicide a few years prior to her death. I think it was in 2020 or 2021. And he had struggled with addiction and stuff like that. And after his death, evidently, Lisa Marie kept his body on like dry ice in her house for like months. Right? And like couldn't accept that he was.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh, that would cause you to have a break.
And Reilly says, like, I knew she wouldn't survive this loss. It was just like one thing too many in this story. And the reviews that I read described it as a memoir that really just comes down to the price of fame and addiction in a family. And that it's sort of unescapable unless everyone sort of like works really, really, really hard.
Yes. Yeah. Well, also so much of it was kept behind closed doors and hidden. And it's impossible to be hiding something and pretending that something isn't going on while you're
healing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and that's why being in the public eye is so dangerous, because it doesn't allow you the opportunity to heal without being scrutinized and picked apart by people who shouldn't be able to comment at all about your life. We're not built that way. It's like that Dunbar's number.
Yeah. I know that like fame is so weird. And, we've had that recent death of that Liam Payne from One Direction. And, you hear these stories and you just think like, it's so unnatural to be famous, really.
Right. It really
is. Our brains just are not meant for that kind of.
Not at all.
Like feedback.
Correct. Right.
And so it's almost amazing to me that anyone could be functional in those circumstances.
It really, I don't think there's it's, you can't be super exposed, and the people who are functional have healthy boundaries.
Well, and in her case, she didn't choose it.
Right.
She was just born into it, which is a real particular kind of trauma, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those Kardashian children, I mean, we're already kind of seeing it. The pushback from a few of them who are like, they're either real on board or they're like, don't put me in any videos. And if you do, I'm going to tell everything.
The kids?
Yeah. Like Courtney's son, I think, or daughter, one of them is like, his name starts with an M, I can't remember, but like Mason isn't in any, like chose to not be in anything.
Okay.
Made that conscious decision. And there was just a law passed in California about parents not being able to profit off of family vlogging, and we need that.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, mark my fucking words, 100 years from now, we are going to look back and it's going to be like, holy shit, how did we allow cameras in children in the home? How did we allow this to happen and allow parents to profit off of exploiting their children and doing something that they don't even realize. We're going to learn the negative effects of this. Just watch. We're already seeing it.
And in her book, she describes she was the one that found her dad in the bathroom dead.
Oh my God.
At the age of 9.
Okay. That makes it make more sense that she hung on to the body.
Right.
That is her experience with death. She probably had a moment there where it was just
then now
her and
he's
him.
gone.
And now
they took him away and that's it.
That is the answer.
Right.
God, I'm a good therapist.
It makes total sense to me. Like, I don't blame her for any of her weirdness.
I totally understand that.
Because it's like, that is not natural.
No.
And then for the rest of your life, people want to hear stories about the 9 years before that moment.
Which is like a reminder of that all the time.
And it's like your value is from this person that you loved as a dad that everyone else sees as something totally different.
Yeah.
A cultural, significant being that has to do with their identity, not him as a person. It's too much.
It is too much. It's very complicated.
And I'm glad that she wrote the book, and I will read it. And I think we will learn a lot from it. But like, it's not normal to have to endure what she did.
No. So many kids. Britney Spears, her children. I think that's going to be a hard one.
It's not functional.
Mm-mm. You need so much support, so much protection and shielding. And then that comes with its own consequences.
I think she did really well considering.
100% she did. The problem is not her. The problem is everybody's consumption of her.
So what do we do about that? How like we as a society put this on people?
We can't do anything as long as that person continues to choose to be public. And that is, we created that because it's the only thing that it's the place where validation came from at such a young age. So it's the place that she's going to continue to go to for that. And so that she doesn't know any different. It is, and that is a difficult thing to have a parent who relies on external validation in that way. There's no way that isn't going to affect them.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to reading it, and I do think it will be insightful.
Yeah.
And it's just a sad story all the way around.
Yeah, it really is.
But fascinating all the same. All right, that's all for now. Today we talked about some Darwin Award losers / winners.
Sure did. Oh, God, stay away from snakes, would you?
And we found out that Sarah somehow got into Disney's Club 33.
Yes, I did. I will share pictures.
Were there any famous people there when you were there?
No.
Really?
I mean, besides yours truly.
I mean, I was just thinking maybe John Stamos.
No, I wish.
He's a very big Disney enthusiast.
I didn't see him there. No.
Oh, my God. And in the article, they were complaining about how one time they tried to go in on Thanksgiving, but the latest reservation was 1:30 because Tom Hanks rented the whole thing out, and they were fucking pissed.
Oh, my God. That's wild.
Yes. There's a new postmaster at Antarctica. I'm sure you could send something to them if you wanted to just say hello.
Just be like, hey, what's up? Congrats on the new job.
Yeah, right. Mazel tov. And the Hope Solo Untold is excellent. Thank you for using our codes. Go to thebraincandypodcast.com if you want to ever see our codes, if you forget them, or check out patreon.com/braincandy to support us in our reality TV nightmare. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.